Hi, welcome back to the series where we are discussing RC 99. So, the rule will be simple that we will read the RC, you will read the RC, we will discuss its gist, and we will discuss the questions at the end after reading the passage. So if you want to read it on your own, you can read it by yourself. You can pause the video wherever you want for the reading part, and then let's go and see the questions here. That is, here are the three questions, and of course we have the fourth question. So this is the second RC. Hopefully you have seen it, and okay, so let's go to the upper side. The screen is shaking a bit, and don't worry, I will fix it in the next video. So the second passage, if you have read it by now, it is talking about the early perception and the impact of railroad, mainly in the 19th century when it came to America. Passage is talking about the highlights, it is talking about the contrasting views, in the form of metaphor, also in the form of examples, also the contrasting views in the mind of the American. The passage tries to say that the positive portrayal of the railway was there. Many of the people were taking it positively, but many people also, they were taking it as in the negative form by calling it a large, mysterious, monstrous, dangerous, and all the things. This is the passage all about. Then the passage towards the end also discuss about Ralph Waldo Emerson, and there were various figures, like at the starting also this person Henry Van Dam was discovered, were discussed, and they have their own perspective towards the railroad. So this is the passage all about. So, and of course, as we saw in the very first video of RC 99, where I actually helped you by going through each and every line, the same tricks we are going to apply and read and understand the same passage. Well, gist is known to you. Now let us see the question. Guys, there is a rule. Now each and every paragraph discussion is not important. What is important is for understanding what is the main thing, what is the main idea. Now let us see the first question, right? So let me take a pen and okay, wait a second. Yeah. So which of the following claims would the author of the passage most agree with? Now in this question we have to choose an option which the passage author agrees to. So not a fact, but something that the author says. What was this passage all about? Just that the author is showing that there were two type of views, right? Okay, now and where the author's view was, well, for that we can actually go and check the passage back. So if we see, so let us just quickly see the passage. So the first paragraph is talking about the image of a railroad, right, given by Henry Poor, right? So it is material progress, and the combination is construction and all that. So first paragraph is talking about that railroad is taken as positively, and it is inducing energy, life, vigor, etc. Then the third decade came, 19th century. Here Americans, they characterize in light of the new railroad, they liked the idea that it promotes science and all. So Americans were what they thought were becoming discussed parallels between locomotive and national character. So Americans also, they were seeing railway with the nation. They were seeing that railway is like a unity for the nation. So they were seeing it that way. But the same poor people in America, they were not liking it. They were thinking railway to be as a monster, mysterious and dangerous. So then of course author, which is the author's view we are trying to see. So then further it is saying that poets, editors, writers, like, so they are, who is writing what. Iron horse was the metaphor given to it. Then there is this Ralph Waldo Emerson. He saw it as a domestic harmony. So how, who saw, author just mentioned us that. Now, if we go back to the question, where the question number 1 says, which would author most agree with? Find that option which has its maximum proof in the passage. That will be your right answer. Let's discuss. Option number 1, railroad undermined America's progressive tendency. Was this said? No. People were seeing railway as a progress as per the passage. So this is wrong information. A does not have any kind of backup in the passage. So we cannot go with A. B, railroad promoters like Poor denounced Jeffersonian agrarian principles. So the person, his name was Poor, right? So was he denouncing the agrarian principle? No, agrarian principle. What agrarian principle? Agriculture is not discussed. So this is a complete alien option which is not even discussed in the passage. So we cannot go with B. C says the Americans in general were against the railroad. No, because the passage said that Americans were seeing it as a mark of national unity and progressive tendencies and all that. Yeah, some poor were fearing it, but it doesn't mean that they were against it. Having fear of something and getting against of something is very different. So we do not have any proof regarding C. It was not told or discussed in the RC. D says Ralph Waldo Emerson thought that the railroad would harm America. See, they were just fearing it. He never thought, in fact this is a wrong information, it is not written there that he feared that it will harm America. In fact, its contrast, its opposite was there in this RC. He was taking it positively. E says Americans generally supported. Now, yeah, some feared, but the passage explicitly didn't mention that they were criticizing it, so they generally supported it. So answer is E. Any questions? Comment it in the comment box. I will answer your doubts. Next question. The passage primarily concerned with which of the following? Now this is a question of main idea. So what is this passage all about? What is this passage talking all about? Well, let us see the options. A says criticize. Is the passage criticizing interpretation of early American railroad? Is the passage criticizing the American railroad? No, not at all. Very wrong. It was not there in the passage. B says discuss the early years of railroad. Early years, was it there? Yes, it was there. And its connection to the American character of the time. Yeah, they were relating it with the nationalistic thing. Well, B has a point. B is actually something that is representing the passage. You know guys, main idea is just, when we say what is the main idea, it is just like the para summary question. It is just similar to para summary. I am not saying it is completely the same thing, but it is very, very similar. If you know para summary, apply it with the RC, it works. Well, B is a very good option. Shall we go with the B blindly? No. First take C, D and E and choose the better option, always. Maybe there is a better option than B. Well, C says, suggest that railroads were the most important development in the history of America. Now C is fine, but C, the coverage of C is narrow. Why I am saying that? Yes, of course C has its proof in the passage, but C is saying that railroads were most important development. Like, see, when the word most important is there, we still have no proof. Passage didn't say that this was the most important development. One of the important developments we could have said, but we don't have proof. Why we can not go with C? Because we do not have proof. And when question is asking what is the passage concerned of, So do not say anything new, only tell what the passage is saying. Yeah, if it were have been an inference question, then we would have inferred something. But here we do not need to infer. Here we only are here to do the main idea, to see the main idea which should be in the passage, not outside. Okay, D says, describe the apprehension with which most Americans greeted the early railroad. Now D is also narrow because D says that most Americans were apprehensive. It's a negative thing. But some of the Americans who were poor, they were apprehensive, but other people were welcoming it. So going with D gives a different message because passage showed both the sides of the coin. D is only one side of the coin, so D is a narrow option, right? E, assert that Americans were tricked into believing that railroads were beneficial for them. Were the Americans tricked? Well, we do not have complete proof of it. The word trick is a very big word. Yeah, of course, it was being discussed again and again. It was being made to believe. But is this the main idea? Is this the only thing that was being discussed in the entire passage from start to end? No. When it is saying primary concern, try to find something which covers the entire passage. So once again, we cannot go with E because E is narrow. So definitely we are left with option number B, which is the right answer. Now let's move to the next two questions. Question 3. According to the passage, which of the following is most likely to be true? Now look at this question first. An option, whatever the answer will be, it has most of the probability will be more true. It means the option will not be ditto present in the passage, but the option is going to have its big proof in the passage. So an option whose proof, whose support is available in the passage, option will not be there in the passage, but its proof will be there in the passage. We can prove this through that line in the passage. That option we have to choose. Okay, let's read the options and find which is our answer. A says, he felt that Americans should adhere strictly to Jeffersonian agrarian principles. If we are talking about Ralph Waldo Emerson, well, is it discussed? Let's see. So he saw locomotive as agent of domestic harmony. He observed a locomotive, steamboat, enormous shuttles shoot every day across 1,000 employment. So adding hourly assimilation goes forward. No danger. Hostility should be preserved towards Americans. So this thing is his idea. So mainly he was seeing it as a domestic harmony. Now there is nothing regarding the agrarian principles that he should strictly adhere to this. This is not what Waldo Emerson was saying, at least in this passage. Even if it is there, it doesn't make sense because passage topic is regarding the railways, not any agrarian principle. So this is a very alien option. It has no significance for this question, neither for the passage. B says, he thought that the railroad was important as the telegraph. Was the telegraph example used? Well, he believed, of course, in technological progress, but he was saying like steamboat and all these examples were used, but telegraph example was not used. We just saw the passage, right? So supporting B is a little bit tricky because telegraph was not there. We do not have proof for the word telegraph. Technology, we can say boats and all, we can say steamboats, we can say. Should we go with B? Well, if there is a better option now, then we will go with that. For now, let's keep B on hold. C, he felt that technological progress would help to unify Americans. So this is a better option because exactly we have proof for C. So between B and C, C is a better option. We can cut B as of now. What about D and E? D says he thought that railroad promoters were acting against America's best interest. Railroad promoters, this was not discussed, and this was not being discussed by this person. So this is again out of the box, out of the scope of the passage, or alien. We cannot go with D. E says his metaphors had a dark side to them. Who his metaphor dark side? Well, this is not something whose proof we can derive from the passage. We have to select an option. Basically our answer should be whose full proof is there in the passage, not derived proof. That much far we should not go. We should go exactly what the passage is proving or showing. Whatever is written, we have to believe that in these kind of questions. Yeah, so answer is C. Hopefully you did it right. If any question, comment it. Subscribe to this channel now, because I am going to complete this series before your CAT exam very soon. Next, suppose that an early 19th century American inventor had developed a device that made it easier to construct multi-story building. How would early 19th century Americans expect it to react? Just given the situation that if some development multi-story construction would have come up at that similar time, how would have they reacted? Well, we know how they reacted with the incoming of railway lines. So definitely the same reaction would be there. So find that option which shows the same reaction of the people as they reacted in the early 19th century for the railway. What was the reaction? Well, they were not completely happy with it or completely sad. They saw it with a little bit doubt. They had doubt in the mind. See which kind of option is talking about it. A says they would not support. No, they would have doubt, but they will support, because this is what they did for the railway. So A is the wrong answer. B says they would generally support society's use of such a device. Well, B can be an option. Keep it on hold. Let's see if we have a better option. C says they would have no opinion about society's use. Oh, so between B and C it becomes an either option. In fact, both are true. So we cannot select B or C, because B and C both are true. It means, but two options cannot be the answer. Definitely there will be an option which will be better than B and C. Have patience, let's see. D says they themselves would not use. No. They themselves would not use. Usage was not discussed in this paragraph, in this RC. So we cannot comment regarding usage. E, they would initially view such a device with skepticism. Oh, wow, ditto. This is something that we were just discussing. They will be apprehensive. Not completely negative, not completely positive. The societal view will be somewhat in the middle. Skeptical they will be. Skeptical means a little bit apprehensive, a little bit doubtfulness will be there. But it doesn't mean that they will accept or reject it. So E is exactly what we are looking for, and definitely B and C gets cancelled out. Our answer is E. Hey, hope you liked it. Subscribe to this channel, and you can get more study material and content in bhagyashreeghosh.com. Do check that out too. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.